Great, time for the solutions for the line segment constructions. Again, I don't have the digital tools to show you this on the screen just because these are just done digitally on the iPad. And so I'm going to show you my constructions and explain where they come from. So when you're trying to make a copy of a segment, you always start somewhere else and make a ray that goes out. Once you have that, you're going to take your compass over to your original segment and figure out, after you got your center down, what hole the other end of your segment will go to, and you're going to copy that over here, put the end of your compass here, go out to that same hole and make a little arc. Once you have that little arc, you're going to have an intersection point. From that intersection point to your end point is this segment copied. And that's how you copy a segment. Moving on to B, you're going to follow the same steps. Get a ray going somewhere else, just draw it out there. It goes on forever, so don't worry about how long it is. Make it long enough that you can actually put your segment on it, though. Then you're going to go to your original segment, put the center of your compass on one end, and go out and figure out what hole the end of the segment shows up through. And once you have that, you're going to pick up your compass, put your end here, and come out to that same hole, and you're going to draw a little arc. Use your compass there. And that arc is going to cross somewhere along the ray, and from your end point to that intersection point is the original segment copied over. Moving on to 2, if you're going to add the two lengths together, you first start with the ray going out, and you're going to use the same steps to copy the angle over. Put your compass center at one end, figure out what hole gets you to the other side, and you're going to plop it down here and draw a little arc there to get the copy of the first segment. So that's my first segment copied. You're then going to take your compass and go to your second segment, put the center there at one end, figure out what hole gets you the other end. You're going to bring your compass over to the other end, and you're going to put the center of your compass at the end point you already put down from the first segment, and you're going to put your compass out and use the same hole that you have there to make another arc. And when you have those arcs there, this is going to make another intersection point. This was the first segment. From here to here was the second segment, and so this entire thing from the end point here to this second crossing is the length of these two added together. Moving on to B, you're going to follow the same steps. Get a ray going, put the compass at one end of your first segment, figure out what hole gets you to the end, and then you're going to put your center of your compass at the end of your ray, go out, use the same hole to make an arc, and that arc will give you the other intersection point. So from the end point to that intersection there is the length of the first segment. And then you're going to use the same method, put the center of your compass on one end of your segment, go out, find what hole shows up at the end of the segment, what the end point of the segment hole shows up in, and you're going to take your compass, put your center at the point you've already constructed, and go out, use the same hole to make the same arc, the same hole you figured out was there. And once you have that, you're going to have another intersection point, and from the beginning of your ray up into that second intersection point is the length of both of the segments copied over. Moving on to 3, you need to find a segment that's the long one subtract the first one. Well, to do that, first construct the first one. So, get a ray going out. Draw your arrow on the end. And put your compass on the end of your segment, draw it out, figure out what hole the end of the segment shows up in. You're going to use that same hole here to make the arc, and you're going to have the original length of the longer segment goes from the end of your ray to your new intersection point. And when you have that, you have your length there. You're then going to use your compass to measure out what radius your smaller segment goes to, and you're going to put the center. You can put it here at your same start point, and use a little arc to figure out the length out there. And if you do that, notice this part gets cut off. This part gets thrown away. And so your segment just goes from your second point to from your first intersection to your second one. That's our segment. That's the long one minus the short one. And on the second one, I did a little bit differently. I did construct the long one here. It goes all the way. That's what this second one is about. But when I got my second segment, I put my compass down, figured out what hole it was, and then I put the center of my compass here and went backwards and used the same hole to make this mark. So I used the same hole that I got here, right here, and when I did that, I got this other point here, and so this part got subtracted off. It's gone. Okay. Well, this part, this much, is left over. So that's the long part, subtract the small part. You can either subtract it at the beginning part or at the end. Either or is fine. I just wanted to show you both. So that's those.